Hello everyone, this is Damon with PixNub Software. In this video I'm going to be doing an overview of the image extract plugin, and I'm going to be explaining what this program is used for, what types of extractions it works good for, and what types of extractions you may need to do some touch-ups for, and also explain, I'm going to do a demonstration with Easy Green Screen and explain the differences between this program and Easy Green Screen, so you can decide if you're shooting green screen if you want to use this program or use Easy Green Screen. And there's a few different images I'm going to be discussing here in this video. So let's just get started here. The plugin, when installed, will be under the Plugins menu in CC 2021 or higher. And you can put this anywhere you want in the Photoshop menu. You can put it in this little pop-out menu as well. But where I like to use it is actually docked into its own column. And that way it stays open and it's not in the way of your image, and it's just a good spot to have it. So there's two sections. There's the extract single images section, and this is where you will just extract an image that you have open. And there is also a batch processing section where you can batch process in full auto mode, or you can actually batch process where you're editing as it goes. I'm not going to really discuss the batch processor in this video. There's another video for that, but just to point out though that it does have that. I'm going to be working in the single images section just so I can discuss what this program is doing. And so the first image I'm going to show you here, this is a pretty basic image shot on Elastolite. And this is the type of image that this program will really excel at most of the time. Let me just hit remove background here. It's going to remove the background. In images where you don't have feet and there's no objects outside the person, work really well. Now what this program is actually doing, it's using the select subject to make the mask, and that works off of artificial intelligence, so it's looking for shapes and not color. And that'll make a little more sense when I do some of the other demonstrations and show you what the differences are there. But it's really looking for people and it's not looking for objects. So with non-sports images like school portraits, it works really good for that type of thing. So what it does is it gives you a non-destructive layer stack. And by the way, this is actually against transparency. It just gives you a background color because it makes it easier to see if there's areas you need to touch up. And you can change that color, of course, to whatever you want. It gives you a color fix layer. You see some of the glowing in this hair here. And this plugin is really tuned more for Elastolite white screen. And you can see that color fix just fixes that unnatural glowing in the hair. This will also fix some green spill as well if you're using this for green screen. And then it gives you this folder for white screen touch-up. Now this, you don't need to do anything manually with this layer stack, but what this is for these two buttons up here, which I'm going to demonstrate these maybe a little later in this video and do a quick demo, but I've got other videos that really dive into depth. But this is for doing touch-ups with white screen, and these are pretty powerful and can fix a lot of flaws in images. So let's move on to the next type of image. Now this is one that is full length, where there's a lot of clutter around the Elastolite. And this is something you would use for an easy team builder build. I'm just going to remove the background here so we can discuss this one. And since this is using an AI extraction, it doesn't really care about that clutter outside of the person. It erases that just fine. But you can see like this little teeny white spot between the arm and the shirt. It missed that. The hair looks pretty good. But the shoes, you see where it missed the spot between the lace. And honestly, you could use this perfectly fine for an easy team builder build. You wouldn't have to touch up. I wouldn't worry about these areas between the laces. And if you were doing like a poster full size of a kid, you might touch that up. But for like an easy team builder, this is usually perfectly fine if you're doing poses like this where you could batch process everything with a walk-away batch for the most part and just use those. So yeah, for something like this, it's usually pretty good. Now, I'm not saying you'll never have to touch anything up, but it usually does pretty good with those. Okay, now this image I'm going to demonstrate here. Now this is where you'll start to see, let me just remove the background here, but you'll see the difference between AI and a color-based extraction. So you see this softball completely disappeared here. Now we can't touch that up because this is non-destructive. And if you look at, let me disable this layer mask. You see we've got the original image here. It's not actually applied that transparency. And also you've got the original image here you can use for touch-ups, as well as I mentioned these touch-up buttons, which I'm going to demonstrate this in a minute. But I want to discuss what's going on here because you see that this softball is not white. So you may be thinking, well, why did it extract that? It's not white. It should only be extracting white. Well, it's also extracting this non-white stuff outside of the screen as well. It's extracting this grass. So this artificial intelligence is not basing its decisions on color. And I have no control over this algorithm because, as I mentioned earlier, this is using the select subject in Photoshop. Now, as this select subject improves in future Photoshop releases, you will see these masks improve with image extract. So this program is already built to where improvements to the select subject are going to improve this program. So keep that in mind. So if you keep updating your Photoshop as Photoshop improves this algorithm, these selections of these, hopefully they'll be able to automatically select stuff like balls and sports equipment better in the future. But I'll show you what we do have here. Is we have this these two buttons, and this is going to be a very quick demonstration of this. I'm not going to get into too much detail on this, but if you grab a brush tool and you can brush any color, it really doesn't matter. In this define touch-up area, you can define an area where you want to override the mask. It's going to hit the replace area. And this is making a mask based on white. Now I still have this original image showing, so if I hide that, now you see that that was quick and easy to bring the ball back. And there's two different buttons for different purposes, but these are very, very powerful. These are for white screen only, just to point that out. They're not for green screen or anything else. These two buttons are white screen only. Let me show you a couple more things with the artificial intelligence extractions. There are often times, like you see this little white area between the fingers, it missed that, some of this hair. Every now and then you have to do some touch-ups. There are other things built in to make your life a little bit easier for the touch-ups. I'm not going to do a lot of explanation here. I'm just going to show you that you can easily touch some of this stuff up and good enough for the purpose of the video here, but it just, you know, there's another little white spot right here. Might as well make this image completely finished since I'm here, but you can just see that using this system, which I explain all this in more detail in the specific videos for each feature, but once you get good at this, you can touch up images pretty quickly. So let's move on to the next image. And just to show you that you can remove something that's not green screen as well. And depending on your background, it may work better for some images than others. I find that if the background is defocused, it tends to work pretty well. And since you've got the mask, you can go in. I'm just doing various touch-up methods in this demonstration video, although I'm not really explaining these because I don't want this video to be too long, because there's other specific videos for these different touch-up methods that I'm doing. So we'll go to the final image, and this is the one where I want to explain and you'll really see the difference between artificial intelligence and color extractions. So first I'm going to extract this. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to duplicate this image, so that way we have two copies. And with the first copy, I'm going to use image extract. The next copy, I'm going to use easy green screen. All right, with image extract, let's look at the original image. And you can see that this floor and this area is outside the screen. It had no problem whatsoever removing that because, again, this is basing its extraction on shape, but it's looking for people is really what this select subject seems to be looking for, and it's not looking for a softball bat. And this is where the AI still has work to do as far as the auto selection. And again, I have zero control over this algorithm. This is purely the select subject in Photoshop. So I don't have control over this, and it kind of just is what it is. However, you do have your original image here, and if you wanted to, you could make a mask and use any method that you see fit to bring this back in. Now there's some more advanced methods with channel blending and things for green screen. I'm not going to get into those because those would take a little bit longer than I want to in this video. But what I will say is that for Easy Green Screen 7, I'm actually looking at the artificial intelligence and some of the similar things like this white screen fixed area. I'm looking to bring some of that in and giving the option between a color extraction or an artificial intelligence extraction. Down the road, I may even merge the image extract program and the Easy Green Screen programs into the same program. I'm not 100% sure the whole future as to how everything will break out, but just keep that in mind. Now let's go look at the pure Easy Green Screen extraction so we can discuss the difference here. All right, with Easy Green Screen, you can see that the bat did not get erased. So remember over here, this was the bat with the extraction. Here is the bat with the Easy Green Screen extraction. However, Easy Green Screen did not remove the clutter outside of the screen. And there actually is a way, if you've used Easy Green Screen before, I'm sure you're aware of this auto clear. And with this image, we'll probably have to use the face detect plus 1/2. I don't know. Let's just go with 100. It'll probably have a pretty big border down here. But now this is also using select subject, but it's got a radius on the edge. That way it doesn't mess up any of the stuff above. I'm not going to get too much into this. I got a whole video on this, but just to show you that there is a difference between, basically, there's a difference between how the color selection works and how artificial intelligence works. Because if you see, based on our original Easy Green Screen extraction, the color selection was able to select by that green color, whereas the artificial intelligence selection is looking for shapes, so it doesn't always see those objects outside of the people. Now, the other difference between these two programs is how the spill correction works. And quite honestly, in this image, the way it was shot, there's really not enough to probably be able to see a difference in spill correction. Let me see if I can zoom in and we can. Now this will do some spill correction. There just wasn't really much spill in this image to begin with. But this color fix layer, this will do a little bit of spill correction on the edges. But if you have heavy spill that goes into the foreground, the image extract is not going to really work for green spill well on that. So keep that in mind. I chose this image for the demonstration just because I wanted to really highlight the differences on how the mask selected with AI versus color. But yeah, those are the differences. But I'm hoping in the future to be able to bring that AI into easy green screen, so that way you get this really good spill correction here in combination with the AI, just as an option, and it'll still have the option to extract by green or by AI. And in the future, I'm actually hoping that this select subject will be good enough to automatically recognize all of these objects as well as people. That way everything can be one happy little program without you needing to do any touch-ups. But as of now, this is what it is, so I'm hoping that you can understand the differences. So just in summary, images such as this, where it's just these like 3/4 or waist-up shots, like school portrait type images, these are the ones that usually work best if you're not looking to do any touch-ups with white screen. The type of images for easy team builder usually are pretty good around the feet. You know, often I see where, like in this example, between the laces didn't get erased, but usually that stuff is really not an issue if you're putting a whole team together and the players are so small anyway. It's usually not a big deal. So for easy team builder type stuff, I mean, you can a lot of times just do the one-click auto batch and walk away. Stuff like this, if you remember, some of the objects got erased. There's some easy stuff to touch up, which I will discuss this in a lot greater detail in the videos that are just for this feature. And remember, this was just a shot outside in nature, and this kind of stuff can actually work pretty good. So just keep in mind that you do have the options to do that, even if you have to do a little bit of touch up, like you saw I brushed in the mask here. And then again, the green screen versus the image extract, you'll see image extract often has more areas to touch up, like in the bats, although it does clear areas that are not automatically cleared as well by easy green screen. Although easy green screen does have that auto clear that you can use to help out with that. Anyway, I probably went a little longer in this video than I should have, but I hope this kind of gives you an overview of what this is used for and what images work best with it. Make sure to watch the other videos, because I'll be discussing this batch processor like I mentioned, and also be discussing all of these different touch-up items, because once you get good at this, the touch-ups honestly are pretty quick. And with the batch processor, this does have the extract and edit option to where it'll extract and you can edit, hit continue, and then just kind of help it along. And it's really actually pretty quick. So anyways, thanks for watching, and be sure to watch the rest of the videos for image extract.